Hey, what's going on? My name is William Alderman. I just want to check in with you guys, obviously, to talk about my arrow setup for 2023. And if you stick around to the end, I do have a quick little tip to help you keep your tip nice and tight. But with that being said, let's talk about the arrow. So in regards to my arrow, I am shooting the RIP TKOs, 250 spine in the Elite Series. I keep it full shaft, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But the main thing that I want to do is kind of work through everything from the backside and then work my way forward. So I shoot the AAE standard Nocks that come with. Those that have followed along have known that I've had a few issues in regards to how tight the knock fit is, but once you get the knock fit and the center serving to actually marry up perfectly, which praise God for gas and them taking care of it, I've had no complaints. I love these Nocks. They're super durable, super strong. I've had nothing just crack on me unless I just hit it with another arrow. And even then, it's like they try to stay together. It's like they don't want to shatter. And they're super, super close to the carbon, which personally I think plays a role in just consistency, because it's pushing right on the carbon almost, rather than pushing through a bunch of plastic, kind of like the Easton X Nocks that have like dang near 1/4 of an inch. It feels like, not literally, but a whole lot of plastic in between the knock throat and the actual point of carbon. So whether that actually affects your arrow flight or not, I don't know, but food for thought. With that being said, I do have arrow wraps. I'm running for the first time arrow wraps on my arrows. The reason why is because these are actually reflective boning wraps, and the hope is that my retrieval at night after shooting a deer is going to be a little bit easier to find it. Now, if it's covered in blood, obviously it kind of eliminates all of that, but maybe it'll clean itself as it goes through. Who knows? I'm just hoping that I don't have to go back to a lighted knock. Not that I ever will, actually, because I shoot these things consistent. And what I found when I was switching back and forth between lighted knocks is I don't have the budget to be buying lighted knocks for all of my arrows. And at 20 some odd dollars for 3, I just don't see the value in them. Personally, I see the value. I just don't have the pocket for it. Not an area that I want to spend a bunch of money. So with that being said, I am running the TAC vanes. I'm running the 2.75 vanes, obviously just for a little bit of extra steering of the broadhead. I love the look of the 2.25, but for these, definitely had to go with the bigger vanes. Since I am throwing this fat boy on the front side, and I say fat boy, it's actually a little boy, but I do want to get into some bigger cutting broadheads, but fixed blade is the way I go. I have iron wheels actually on here now. I have 2 of them. And my other, what's going to fill up the rest of my quiver is going to be Muzzies. It's Muzzy Trocars are the first broadhead that I ever shot, and I still have no reason to jump away from them other than having to get replacement blades versus having a blade that I can comfortably sharpen and know that that thing is going to hold its edge consistently, even after I've touched it and shot it into a target, and I can just touch it right back up, get it right back rolling. And so, again, super beneficial for the long haul in regards to how I plan on hunting. I don't want to have to buy broadheads every single year or even just replacement blades, because after you spend $60 on some broadheads and then you get $20 replacements every single year, I think that ends up being a revolving door that I would much rather just spend a little bit of time sharpening my stuff rather than spending more money in my gear when I already have probably a little bit more than I would like. And it kind of goes the same thing with my wraps. I end up cutting my wraps in half to get a little bit more out of my money. Now, am I going to regret that with not having more arrow wraps on the back end and easier to find? I don't know. With that being said, I run a standard insert, so I'm not really worried about a lot of FOC. I think the standard Victory insert is about 15 grains, if I remember correctly, and then I'm running 100 point up front, so it's not a lot offsetting a wrap and everything else I have on the backside. I just like to try to keep my arrow as light as possible to get that thing running and flying as flat and as fast as I can get it. Just personally, I like the speed. I would like to hit the point that I'm aiming and not worry about hitting a bone and having to push through it. I generally know where I'm trying to point and hit, and I feel like if I do that, then I'm going to be successful. And so that's the arrow. In regards to the quick tip that I have for those that do not use hot melt is to use hot melt. The hot melt that I use is the Boning and some other hot melts, and my battery's about to die, no way. Getting to the point of attack, get it? Because like the point of the arrow, and that's what we're talking about, the bonus point, whatever. So forgive the video quality if it's bad, I don't know, but my camera died while I was halfway through giving this point, and so now I'm resetting and re-talking through all these points. So bear with me, but with all that being said, a few easy points and few pointers that I find super beneficial to arrow setups is, one, I like to keep my arrow a little bit longer than what a lot of people are saying, like cut it all the way basically down to the arrow rest. Now this is for like my hunting arrows or my day in and day out shooters. Now going into like my 3D shooting, like everything that I'm doing out of my title, I'm going to be trimming those things up, making sure that I'm getting max speed that I can get out of that arrow, because I believe in speed. And then we'll learn later on tomorrow that I don't, because I figured out something else as I was shooting. Who knows? But that's what I believe right now. But beyond the point, getting to the main issue, or the main thing, is understanding that when you keep them full length, you now have a whole lot more arrow to be able to work with as time goes on. Those that are shooting groups, or know that, let's say you just wanted to shoot a few groups at 30, 40, 20, and you clip the back of your arrow. At that point, for me, I can now just put it in the back of my quiver, take out the nock and say, okay, I'm not shooting that. Then drop it off next time I get in the house. At this point, I have like 3 arrows that are a little bit short. What I do with those short arrows, because I damage them, is not just throw them away like a lot of other people will do. What I like to do is actually reutilize them, because now I'm cutting off an 1/18 of an inch just to get to healthy carbon again. Or like those that shoot like a muzzy like I have on mine, it can chisel the front end and just make it to where it's creating like a micro crack when you shot that thing through an animal. So I don't have to throw that arrow away when those issues arise. All I have to do is clean it up, shave off whatever is damaged, re-square it, and then I get a whole new bundle. Let's say I usually do it when I get about 6 arrows damaged, and then I reshape them up. And so the only way I'm able to do that is the main point in regards to the tip of the week, I guess you would say, is using hot melt. I'm able to use hot melt and rip out all my inserts, and then I rip out my nock. I clean my fletchings off if I end up cutting off the back end, and I'm able to reutilize every inch of that arrow other than the damaged parts, and stretches out my money. The other thing that I like to do with hot melt is not only just gluing in my inserts that way, but also gluing in my points. I glue in my points so that I don't have to retighten it and listen and hear the rattling every time you knock it. For those that it doesn't bother, great. But I mean, the fix for that with the new UltraView 1K arrows was putting that like rubber O-ring, which I've seen in some other field points. I am running some Titan brought our field points from Walmart, so I don't have an O-ring, nor am I looking to spend more money on some field points when I can easily just use hot melt with a hot gun, or whatever you want to use, whether it be a flame. I've used a flame before too, like a regular lighter, and glued everything in and very easily be able to take it all the way out at the end of the season or in transitions. And so for me, that's the way I extend the life of my arrows and get the most bang out of my buck, while also keeping my arrows as safe as possible, because I used to be kind of sketchy with my arrows and shooting cracked ones, but I'm not really in the business of doing that anymore. So food for thought. If it's beneficial to you, I hope it is. But at the end of the day, just remember to be better in pursuit of whatever you are pursuing. So be great. Peace. I don't even know if I covered everything, but I don't care.